Hey everybody, it is Skylar and I'm back again with another weekly pregnancy update video. I apologize for the noise. I am driving to work currently. I had mentioned in my last pregnancy update for my how I'm feeling at 9 weeks, which of course I actually recorded at 10 weeks, but told you how I was feeling during the 9-week of pregnancy. But I told you guys that I had to go back to work this week in Arkansas. They're opening up restaurants tomorrow, and we had to do like some cleaning and things like that. And so I'm back to work this week. Today is Mother's Day. I'm not really happy about going back to work on Mother's Day, but well, going to work period on Mother's Day, because this is not my first day back. But it just kind of stinks being away from my family. But I mean, I told her I could work Sundays in the morning, and excuse me. So Mother's Day happened to fall on the first week that I was going to go back on a Sunday. So I'm having to work today, hopefully just for 4 or 5 hours, not too long. So that's always a plus about my job, is that I don't always have to work, you know, like 6 or 8 hours or 10 hours. And most of the time it's my choice on whether or not I'm able to work. And it's very flexible, very good choice for a mother for a job, and sometimes I make really good money, so there's that. Anyway, so 10 weeks of pregnancy. Tomorrow, which is Monday the 11th, I will be 11 weeks, and so the 10th week of pregnancy is what we're going to be updating on today. So basically, sorry, my nose is itching so bad. Basically, the symptoms that I have been feeling in the 10th week of pregnancy have just been like me being tired because I went back to work this week and my body is just not used to the type of movements that I have to do at my job. And so I'm really sore, really tired, like because I'm dealing with everything else plus the kids' school, basically homeschool for the AMI packets. A lot of y'all moms will know exactly what I'm talking about. And having to go back to work. My nose. So I'm really, really tired this week, but that has a lot to do with the change and everything that's going on. Let's see. I've been really, really emotional this week. Maybe it's just because I'm going back to work and I don't know if I'm dreading it or if I'm happy about it. I really don't know. I don't know if it's bloating or what, but I've noticed that maybe 2 pairs of my jeans fit, and that's it. And only the ones that were either really low-waisted or had stretch. And my hips have widened, and I think that's part of the problem. I have noticed that whenever I have to pee and my bladder is full, that if I lay on my back, like whenever I got an ultrasound at like 8 or 9 weeks, maybe it was 7 weeks, I don't know, but if I lay on my back, then I can feel like my uterus way up, like right below my belly button. And so I know that, you know, whenever my bladder's full, my uterus moves, you know, because my bladder's full, and then it goes back down whenever my bladder is emptied. But I can tell that it is moving upward. A lot of people have commented on my stomach, so it's noticeable and it looks round, and honestly I feel like it looks like I'm like 15, 16 or 18 or 20 weeks pregnant, depending on how many children you've had and how soon you show and how big you are, you know, the sooner that in, you know, pregnancy weeks. But people at work have commented, but they all knew, and so it wasn't like they were like, oh my gosh, are you pregnant? They just said, oh, your baby bump. And I'm like, I think I'm just fat. Like, I'm not really fat, but it's just, it's not hard. Still, same problem. It's not hard. It is a little bit, it's getting a little harder on the bottom, like way below my belly button, like in the pelvic area. And in between my hips just a little bit, but it's still squishy for the most part because I know that my uterus hasn't moved up past my belly button yet. I think that's the 12th week, isn't it? I don't know. Do you know? Is it the 12th week of pregnancy that your uterus moves above your belly button, or is that like 22 weeks? I don't know. I feel like it's 12 weeks. Maybe it's 12 weeks whenever it pops out of your pelvic pubic area. I don't know. As far as sickness goes, I am mainly only right now, I might feel different tomorrow, but I'm mainly only feeling sick if it's like first thing in the morning and I didn't wake up until like 8 or 9 o'clock, which doesn't happen too terribly often, but sometimes it does. Whenever I'm pregnant, whenever I wasn't, I was waking up at 6 or 7 a.m. and I was fine. But if I wake up at 8 or 9 o'clock, which is late to me, then I feel absolutely just starving to death and so thirsty that my body is just weak, and that makes me feel sick. And I'm like shaking, blood sugar feels low. That makes me feel sick. Or around dinner time, whenever I'm starving, or like 3 o'clock, I've got to eat by like 3 o'clock. Something filling, not just like a snack. It's got to be something filling. So sometimes I eat dinner way earlier than everyone else. But by 5 o'clock or so, like, I'm starting to feel kind of sick again. And I don't know if it's because, like, maybe my body is digesting all the food that I've eaten that day by then. I don't know if I'm just getting hungry again and I need to eat. But then by 9 o'clock, it depends. If I've eaten a lot for dinner, I will feel sick. I can't just eat until I'm really full. I have to pretty much just eat until I'm content and stop, or I will feel sick. But before it was like all the time, or it was like really bad in the morning and really bad at like 9 o'clock at night. But it hasn't been really bad for a while, and I have not had to take my nausea medication for about a week now, so that's good. I have noticed, and a lot of these symptoms are probably TMI, but whatever. You're watching a pregnancy update video, so you're probably either female or you've dealt with someone who's pregnant or whatever. You probably have some sort of interest in it, so who cares? But I've noticed that my boobs are like hard, like a lot, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's like the stuff in there that's making like the breast milk, or if they're just swollen. I don't know. I feel like my rib cage area is thicker. And I said something about my jeans not fitting. I'm not in like real maternity clothes all the time yet. I do have a pair of maternity shorts that I do wear obviously whenever I'm not at work, because that's not part of the dress code at my job, but it has like the band over the stomach, and I wear those sometimes because they are really stretchy and comfortable. But I could have worn those whenever I wasn't pregnant because of how comfortable that they are. But that's the only maternity actual clothes that I have. So I'm not really wearing maternity clothes all the time, but I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have to either never wear jeans, or I'm going to have to buy some maternity jeans, because jeans is part of my dress code at work. So I'm going to have to do something soon. If you have any recommendations on where to get maternity jeans, I really need some maternity jeans that have belt loops and do not have the band that goes, like the fabric that goes up onto your stomach to hold your stomach, because I'm supposed to tuck my shirt in at work, and so I've got to figure out how to do that. As far as movement goes, baby movement, I really don't even know what I'm feeling at this point, because with my last pregnancy, which was my son, I thought I was feeling something at like 8 weeks, which I thought was way too early, and maybe I was crazy, but it was like little thumps, and I felt that at like 7 or 8 weeks, maybe even, sooner with this one. But I've read that the baby didn't even move at like 6 or 7 weeks, or like it did, but it was like so weak that I shouldn't be able to feel it. But I have felt thumps even into the 10th week. But like I said, I could have just been nuts. And if you've been pregnant before and you felt thumps, it's almost like your body just thinks that there's a baby in there. So I just wonder, like, since there is a baby in there, your body, I wonder if it just like makes you think that you're feeling movement and you're not. I don't know. It's not been flutters, it's just been thumps. So I really don't know if I'm feeling movement at this point. I should, since I'm going into 11 weeks tomorrow, within the next 4 to 6 weeks, I would assume that I would probably start feeling movement, because I felt movement as like when I knew that it was really movement and there was no question that it was movement. I was 16 weeks with my first child, which was my daughter, whenever I felt that. And so surely a little before 16 weeks, I'll start feeling movement with this one, since this one is my third. Oh my gosh, it looks like I'm just at work. It looks like there's a ton of people here. That's crazy. I'm trying to think if there's any other questions. Some people have this like pregnancy update checklist of questions that they answer, and one of the questions is, are you feeling labor signs? And I had said something within the last week or two about feeling like my uterus was like oddly contracting for some reason, and every once in a while I still feel that. I forgot to ask the doctor about it, so whoops, but every once in a while I'll still feel that, but it's not so intense where it's like I'm cramping or anything like that, and I definitely don't feel like it's labor. I feel like maybe with the third pregnancy it might be possible for Braxton Hicks to start this early, but I just kind of doubted it. I don't know. Might just be my uterus expanding. Maybe it's contracting and expanding. I don't know. I do need to ask my doctor about that because that is really weird. I've definitely had food aversions. I cannot stand still tomato sauce that's really like prominent in the dish. I also cannot stand the smell of cooking meat, especially chicken. Looking at chicken makes me want to throw up. Smelling chicken, period, even if it's cooked, makes me want to throw up. I've been craving more healthy stuff lately, like broccoli. I felt extremely thirsty this week. Cannot get enough to drink, especially at night and first thing in the morning. I've started becoming more moody, I've noticed. Definitely more moody. But I think that's pretty much all of the symptoms that I have. Definitely subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and I'm gonna go ahead and go because it's literally, my phone's about to lose space. So thank you guys.